Hello everyone, Incepted 57, we're back again, War Thunder and update 1.69 Regia Aeronautica, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, just got released into the game. Whole bunch of new stuff, lots of new aircraft, obviously, you should know why, and new ground vehicles, a lot of new mechanics as well, smoke, and a whole bunch of different changes that in the changelog that I can't keep track of. So, like I said, changelog's in the description below, so if you want to just read that all out and skip this video, fine by me. I'm just gonna let you guys know update 1.69 came out and a summary of it. So I said lots of new aircraft, and obviously that's because the Italian tech tree is here. 36 new aircraft for Italy, and some of them you might recognize. C202 is one good example. C202 Folgor, and you might recognize them because in the German tree line we used to have that too. The C202 Folgor, or it used to be called the MC202. I think they removed the M part, MC. Because the M was a company name, Machi or something. I'm not so sure. But here it is, C202. And no, the Italian airplanes are still in the German tree, but I think they're only available to those who already had it. So if you're a new player and you enter the game, you probably won't see it. But that's up to you to find out. I'm not so sure because I have it. But they moved over to the Italian tree line, and it's here. It's the C202, C200, and the CR42 up to the G50. And also the SM79. So these are all new Italian aircraft. 36 new vehicles, and I got the gifts. I pre-ordered these vehicles, so I also got access to the Italian closed beta test. Not too sure how other ways you can get to the closed beta test, but I do have access, and maybe they'll have an opening in the late future, or maybe I just didn't read the news and they already have an opening. But read the news. They probably can tell you a lot more than I can on that part, but. Here, Italian tree line, 36. Everyone else didn't get as much as the Italians because the Italians a new tree, and as you can see, there's 3 lines. There's the fighter line, there's the attacker line with the jets, and here's the bomber line. Premium vehicles. But everyone else didn't get that much, even in comparison. So let's start off with the Germans. Germans got one new premium vehicle, and it's a rank 1, the BF-109 Flagel. Right? It's basically a BF-109, the early BF-109 with 2 medium caliber machine guns in the nose, with 500 rounds each. Not very impressive, but that's a start. It's a premium vehicle, so those starter players who want to start the game with a nice EXP rewarding vehicle, this is it. And Americans got 2. They got a bomber and another premium starter vehicle. The bomber is a PB4Y2. My opinion, looks kind of like a big B-24, but that's what I think. I'm not an expert on this, so I'm probably gonna read it up so I can write the history article on the wiki. But that's the PB4Y2. Another one is the Galer's F-35-2. Oh, there it is. Okay, something just happened. So this is the Galer's F-35-2. This is also a new starter premium, and basically it's the F-35-2 that's premium. Nothing too special there. F-35-2 is right here. It's the equivalence. Oh, it's also the F-2A1. I got has its battle rating increase. It's 2.0 now. I think it used to be 1.3. Last I checked. That's in realistic mode. Let's see arcade. Arcade, yeah, it's still 2.0. Okay. So that's it. That's really it for aviation. 3 new, 2 for the Americans, 1 for the Germans, 36 for the Italians. So you guys can have fun with the Regia Aeronautica. I think that's what they call the Italian Air Force. Like I said, I'm just going on the fly here. But now let's move on to the ground forces. So ground forces, they got a nice assortment. If you see me in first impressions, you know which ones for the Americans are. So we'll start with the Americans got 2 rank 5 medium tanks. They got the M60A2 Starship. Starship's not an official nickname, but that's what is a crew nickname. Kind of like not so sure. Dang it, I had something. Anyway, so M60A2 Starship. Basically, it's 152 millimeter on a gun from the Sheridan. Nothing too special. We went over in the first impression. You guys can look it over there. I don't think they changed much from the dev server. And then we have the medium tank T95E1. Oh, by the way, the battle rating 8.0 for arcade and realistic. Same thing for the T95E1. Same battle rating 8.0. Oh, okay. Well, I'm researching it now, I guess. But T95E1, So some changes. There's been definitely some changes from the dev server. So this used to be 381 millimeters in the dev server, but now it's 178. I think there was some calculation error. There was like they were stacking different armor and they thought it was just one, which is a pity because 381 for the gun mount would be nice. But 178, these are still the same. Still cast. Not so sure if there's any composite features at all, but it is sloped very heavily, so to give roughly 220 to 290 millimeters protection depending where you hit it. Lower glacis is quite vulnerable in the later in rank 5 stages, but I think it's vulnerable. I'm not too sure. Like I said, I don't really play much rank 5, but 202 does not look very well against 202 millimeters. Does not look very well against like 400 millimeters ATGMs and heat rounds and all that stuff. So that's about it. 2 new rank 5 vehicles for the Americans. Germans got one rank 1 vehicle. It's the Puma. We went over this in first impressions. They didn't change much. It's still 30, 50, very fast. So we'll move on. Russians got 2 new rank 5 vehicles. One is the tank destroyer Object 268. Basically, it's a T-10 chassis with 152mm howitzer or cannon. Well, it's probably long enough to be a cannon at this rate. So since we didn't do a first impression, we're just going to go very quickly. 187mm, sloped heavily enough to be 300mm effectiveness. T10 chassis. You should, if you know the T10 well, you should be able to penetrate down here. And penetrating 54mm with HE. Why does it have AP? AP for 232. Maybe it's anti-concrete. And heat round 250. Actually, 250. That's not a lot in rank 5 terms. Oh well. Up to you. Maybe it's good enough against the Yak Tiger. So, and we have the T-55A. Nothing much change. It's still T-55. Armor. All the ammunition allotments are the same. Nothing too spectacular. Well, moving on. British got 3 new vehicles. We still got the Churchill Mark 1. You see my first impression video. I didn't really see this in the positive light because it's a high battle rating, but it has a gun that's like rank 1. But who knows, maybe if I take it out for a few spins, I might grow a bit more favorable to it, but that's up to battle experience, obviously. It is still quite fast, and a little bit more heavily armored than the Matilda, at least. And then we got 2 new rank 5 medium tanks as well. So we got a Chieftain Mark 5, which, as far as I know, the only big upgrade is the engine. The APDS and the HE, all the ammunition is the same. Armor, as far as I can tell, is about the same. Heavily thick, heavily sloped, and yeah. So engine, as far as I know, is engine's the only big upgrade from the Mark 5 from the Mark 3. So experiment as you will. And then we have the Vickers main battle tank, or the battle tank Mark 1, which it kind of looks like a maybe they took the Chieftain turret and the Centurion turret, but 60 mil. What? That's it? Really? That's it? Okay, yeah, this is my first time seeing it. I didn't really look at it much in the dev server, so kind of surprised at its front armor. It's not even. It's rank 5. Battle rating 7.0. This is like M47, M46 patent level. And the 60mm. Sloped for 94. This is like, well, what? Okay. First, let's just do it quickly. Maybe anything. Oh, maybe. Well, the L7 definitely. The 105mm definitely would help it. Oh no, I never took it out for spin, so, but we'll do that another time. But yeah, so British got 3 new vehicles, 2 rank 5, 1 rank 2, and then Japan got 1, the Cheeto Lake. We went over this in the first impression, so not much to say. It's just a more heavily armored Cheeto, and I welcome it because Japanese Trail definitely could use more vehicles. It's still the smallest ground forces of them all, especially if you think about Japan's World War II history. They didn't do much in terms of tank development, so understandably they don't have much actual serviceable World War II tanks before the Cold War with the STA-1 and stuff. So I welcome the Cheeto late for diversifying the rank 3 field, because otherwise it's quite constricted to Cheeto and then Chiri and then 24 and Sherman. And then yeah, that's about it. And then we have Italy, of course. So after by that point, changelog. We go to changelog details. It's just extensive in what kind of details they change for the airplane models, flying details, armaments. I know the SM-79, the side machine guns would change to Lewis machine guns. But one thing I did notice is that the M26 Pershing's front sloped armor has been changed in degrees from 43 to 46. And I say it's 43 because that's what the wiki said, and that's what I type in the wiki. So unless it's not 43 and I was wrong, but it changed to 46 now, which gives it a front armor around this area. That's equivalent of a Panther. It's about 140 millimeters now. However, you still got this flat area on top here, and the machine gun port and the gun mantlet. So there's still lots of weak point, but general hits around this area, you probably can withstand at the same level as a Panther. But you got battle rating 6.3 still, so it's still quite, in my opinion, a bit under mobile and under armored, especially when Tiger tubes and stuff. Oh yeah, T-34. They finally filled in that optic space here, so you can't kill it with a machine gun anymore. Haha. And there's a whole bunch of new stuff in the change now. You guys can read this. Like I said, I posted a link below. Flight model changes, armament changes, and there's a list of smoke, and I think that's a good place to wrap it up in. Smoke. So they got the smoke launcher, smoke shells, and there's a smoke injection method for the Soviets. I think in the T-62, basically they inject fuel into the engine, and that creates smoke. That's what I heard, at least. But we'll do for the FV4202 to close up on our little conclusion on 1.69 Regia Aeronautica. So you can see here we got the smoke. So you can see here we got smoke shells and we got the smoke grenades, and you can see the smoke grenades in the front. So here we can see this is the AP fire range. You can see it's very fast, so it's got a nice little graduated elevation. But okay, let's fire one. But when you move to smoke, you can see it has a much lower muzzle velocity, and you can see that it's the elevation gradient just got bigger, I guess the way to say. And another thing about the smoke is that they got rid of that little damage parameter inside with the 2mm penetration from my video, but I guess they're just trying to emphasize that this is not an offensive weapon, despite what movies like Fury will tell you. In-game mechanics, at least. I mean, you're not going to penetrate Panzer II with it, but you got smoke. Boof. And it does hide the markers. See, you look at the Panzer IV, Panzer II, and they're gone. And then with the nice fire rate, you can create a nice smoke screen along the planes. Yeah, you see that? And then you basically just hide all the markers from it. And those are pretty big smokes, so these are nice for concealment. You get a tank with a nice firing rate, you can pretty much help block the entire field. And then we got smoke grenades. I set it to my number plus button, so you press that. And this is some nice smoke, I gotta agree. Like for the FV4202, so you basically just hit yourself and you can just retreat out of the location. And they added a reload sign too, so if you wait long enough, you can just press it again. But that's about it for all the updates in 1.6, the major updates in 1.69. If you want to look at all the minor details, like I said, change songs below. But this is one of those updates that I think we could use. It's definitely very interesting for the aviation people, but I'm still a ground force guy. But I've been getting interested in the aviation for some time, so maybe I'll start pumping out more videos of me playing with the ground forces or the air forces. Maybe I'll do some American P-47 videos. I mean, that's my go-to vehicle, aircraft at the time, because I don't have the P-51 yet. I'm still learning, but ground forces is still my forte. But but other than that, update 1.69 is fun update. If you're interested in it, you should go open up your War Thunder launcher and install it right away, because it's still quite a big update. Big updates that tends to happen. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this video, feel free to press the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hopefully I do a few more videos other than these news about new update or first impressions videos. And if you saw my last video about my Italian planes when they were in the German tree line, that's just a taste of what I could be doing. But yeah, that's about it. I hope to see you next time.